Welcome to 6 Tips at 6. I'm Mary Hedge, an information librarian at LaPorte County Public Library. Today we're going to see how you can access the Ancestry database for genealogists through the library's website. This is a database to help you find out all kinds of information about your ancestors. Now, to get started, especially if you're at home, you will need a library card. And on the back of the card is your account number under the barcode. You will need this in order to access Ancestry from home, along with your PIN or password on your account. That's how you get started. Our first tip tonight is that you access Ancestry online through the library's website at no charge. So first, you go to the library's website. You put in laportelibrary.org. And then about the third line down, towards the top of your screen, you'll see Library Online. And you choose Library Online. And then you see the drop-down menu. And you go down about 4 lines there. And you'll come to Research and Online Learning. And you choose Research and Online Learning. And then you'll scroll down until you come to History and Genealogy, because that's what we want, and we'll choose Explore Tools. And you're going to find that some various tools for genealogists come up, and you'll see Ancestry listed in 2 of these gray colored boxes. So one thing that you can do if you're at the library is to choose Ancestry.com, and then on the second line it says at the library, and then you can access it. And you will not need your library card. The computer knows that you're at the library then. But the good thing is, and this is tip number 2, is that through July 31st, you can get Ancestry at home also. So now you want to go to the other box that says Ancestry.com, Remote Access, and access it here. And this is where you will need your library card number. What it does is to take you to the catalog. And what you want to do is to log in. So I'm going to try logging in with my own information here. Putting in my library card number and then my PIN. And that will get me to my account. You'll see towards the top here, it says Mary's account in blue. So I'm going to choose Mary's account, and immediately the account summary comes up. And towards the top, a little bit on the left, you'll see in blue Ancestry.com. And that means that wherever you're at outside of the library, you can use Ancestry.com from now through July 31st at no charge. And that's because so many libraries have been closed recently that they were not able to have access to Ancestry in libraries. So they have been very good to us and have given us free access to Ancestry wherever you're at. So again, you've put in your library account number and your PIN, and now you are ready to do a search. So you can go to Begin Searching, which is now towards the bottom of your screen in green. So Begin Searching, I chose that. And you'll see this screen coming up where you can put in a first and middle name and then a last name. And there are a couple of things that genealogists kind of disagree on as to how much information you should put in. Maybe you've seen the Ancestry ads where it says you don't have to know much about your ancestors, just put in a last name, and that's all you need to do. And a lot of people who are genealogists saying put in a first name and a last name, and that's all you need to do, and a lot of information will come up. Others say put in as much as you can about your ancestor. The thing is, if you put in too much, you might not get up what you really want. But anyway, whatever you do, you just start searching, putting in at least, I would say, their first and last name, and limit it by putting in as much more information as you would like. Another thing that you can do is to limit your search by a certain type. One thing is census and voter lists. The U.S. Census collection is a very good way to start, because if you don't know too much, it's a good way to find out a lot about your ancestors. I see passenger lists under immigration and travel, and that is another good thing that you might want, but just so much that you can choose. Instead of just putting in a name, you might want to put in the type of information that you want by choosing one of these types that are located on the right side of your screen. So tip number 3 was do a search. Tip number 4 was to do a search limited to a certain type, such as census records. Tip number 5 is be persistent. If what you wanted didn't come up, try doing some different things like alternative spellings. Ancestry is pretty good about getting up nearby spellings, but maybe there's something else that you can think of that would be a related spelling. For instance, my father's name started with an E, but one time I couldn't find him because the census indexer started his name with a C, because they didn't notice the little crook in the E and they thought it was a C. So you might have to be persistent in trying something like that. Also be aware that databases are added to Ancestry quite often, sometimes several a day. So if you didn't find what you wanted today, try tomorrow or next month or next year, and a database might have been added that has the very information that you want. And then tip number 6 is to keep a record of your searches. Log who you searched for, by what names, what information that you've looked for, and where you searched. You may think that you will remember everything you've searched for, but most genealogists are searching for multiple names, and you just can't possibly remember everything that you've searched for and where. It'll save you a lot of time later if you do log your searches. Then if you do find something, log where you've found it and what pages you've found it on. And if you did find it, log where you've looked so that you can save yourself time and not have to go back and look at the very same pages over and over again. Okay, to recap our 6 tips tonight. First of all, you access Ancestry online through the library's website at no charge. Tip number 2, remember that through July 31st this year, you can get it remotely anywhere you're at no charge. Tip number 3, just do a search. Tip number 4, try doing a search, limiting it to a certain type. Tip number 5, be persistent. Try and try again if you don't find what you want at first. Tip number 6, keep a record of your searches to save yourself time later. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you use Ancestry. Remember, if you have any questions, please call us. The main library is 219-362-6156, or email help@laportelibrary.org. Thanks again.